Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for today's guest is this incredible actress known by the name of BabsButcher, who's going to be in Unworthy Productions episode 4 as Kimberly Hart. From Earth 22.17. So I'm about to give her an ad into the live now and have a chat with BabsButcher. Here we go. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Going well here. I'm going to turn up the volume. It's hard to hear you. Okay, let's try that.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So what I'm going to get you to do is introduce yourself and explain a bit about what you do, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Yes, sounds good. All right. So my name is BabsButcher. I am a cosplayer and a performer, and recently inducted into the acting industry in a sense. And I can be found everywhere on social media at BabsButcher.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now. So for my first question, so you're playing the role of Kimberly Hart in Power Rangers Unworthy episode 4 of Earth 22.17. What can people expect to see from your Kimberly?
Well, so I may be wrong, but I think Unworthy is actually going to be shining the spotlight on Chrono Ranger for episode 4. And then the following episode is where my character, Kimberly K. Hart, will be introduced. And well, I have a lot of respect for Unworthy Productions, so I'm always going to protect the anticipation and hype that they create for their show, for their series. So, respectfully, I can say, I wrote it down. You can expect to see Kimberly K. Hart in a world very similar to the 2017 reboot movie. But you can also expect throwbacks to the classic Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, just with that 2017 movie twist.
Awesome. So for my next question, so what can people expect to see from your Kimberly's relationship between the Tommy relationship?
Yes, so very exciting that Raph Bucky Barnes, Raph _ Bucky _ Barnes, he is the Tommy Oliver that I do duo shoots with, and we both got cast as Tommy and Kimberly, respectively. So I think, what can I say? I can say you're going to see elements that throw back to classic, like, plot points of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it's not the same in the way that Unworthy very uniquely puts their own spin, and how any fan series can be expected to put a little bit more depth and to flesh things out in a little bit more of a real way. That's what you can expect between those two characters.
Awesome. So for my next question, so what makes your Kimberly so different from Amy Jo Johnson's Kimberly and the Unworthy Kimberly played by the amazing Jenna Garcia?
Oh, yes. For some reason, I always refer to her as her handle, eating them tacos. So, okay. I will say the best way that I can put it is I don't know if it's technically a multiverse with all the different Power Rangers content, underneath that Power Rangers umbrella. I don't know if we can technically call it a multiverse, but similar to a multiverse, when you have the same character across the multiverses, you're going to have a constant. You're going to have factors that are constant that keep that character the same, relatively the same, so you can kind of expect certain things and the familiarity with the character. But under that umbrella, under that multiverse, different plot points happen in the different universes that if you imagine each one as a top spinning at the same time, wind blows a little bit differently and makes them turn a little differently. So you're going to have some unique characteristics that are going to be very unique to Kimberly K. Hart of 2217 Earth, that, you know, doesn't have the campiness of Mighty Morphin, and is going to have completely different struggles than Unworthy's 218 Earth Kim.
Awesome. So for my next question, with my next question, if you could have any five Ranger team members on your team, who would they be and why?
Oh, by the way, if I may, thank you for having me on the show.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, and I love these questions. I really appreciate you having me. So if I were going to, okay, so I have a team, and I can have Ranger team members from across the series. Okay, so I'm gonna have Classic Billy, because for some reason, this teenager not only had the intelligence way beyond his years, he had this these MacGyver skills of fixing things that he had no business knowing how to fix. But, you know, something happens to the communicators, it's going to be tough, but he eventually fixes them. Like, it's crazy. So you want that classic Billy smarts and crazy inventor skills. So that's number one. I would get the Turbo in Space Pink Ranger, Cassie Chan. She's fiercely loyal, fiercely devoted to her Rangers, and you have to have that on the team. Not to mention her amazing fighting skills. I'd have In Space Andros. For the telekinetic powers, because you never know when you're going to need them. And I'd have classic Jason, Red Ranger. Because he had, like, firstly, the fighting skills are impeccable, and you have that leadership there. I don't know that I could be the leader, but I know that Jason could be. And then here's one that I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but essential staff man, you have to have Alpha. He's a Power Ranger team member.
Yeah. Awesome. So for my next question, what was your favorite all-time season of Power Rangers and why?
Yes, okay. So this one, I wonder if this is going to cause controversy, but I do kind of want to explain in case this does rile up some feathers. So I'm a 90s kid, so I'm always going to go classic Mighty Morphin. Season 1 and Season 2 are my favorite. I start to get that feeling knowing, you know, things are going to end when I get to, you know, when I get to that third season. But what people may not know about me is that I grew up in a very strict military family. So not only did we move around a lot, so access to public media, TV, things like that, was scarce sometimes, but TV and watching things with a strict military family is very looked down upon. So the time that I had watching TV was when I got to go to my grandma's house and sneak TV, you know, cable TV in. So, and that during that time was when classic Mighty Morphin was on television. And then from there, I had to focus on studies and extracurriculars and responsibilities, because I'm also the oldest of 5, so I was taking care of my siblings too. So the time that I had to watch television was in the early days, so Mighty Morphin always will have my heart.
Awesome. So for my next question, your favorite all-time Power Rangers villain?
Okay, so very similar to the last answer, Rita Repulso is always going to have my heart. I actually did a kind of version of her for New York Comic Con 2019. And the reason why Rita Repulsa resonated with me as a kid was, when I was going over to my grandma's house, another thing people may not know about me is my heritage is Japanese. So I had a lot of very strong Japanese women growing up. They were my matriarchs. So even though, a lot of the Asian actors were from the original filming, I saw Rita Repulsa as representation of a strong Japanese woman, and that's why she will always have my heart. But Divatox and Scorpina are always going to be really close behind.
Awesome. So for my next question, who inspired you into acting in the first place?
Wow. There's a lot of things that some people may not know. I actually was born in Southern California. I grew up for 13 years of my life in California. And so acting is so prevalent in that culture of Southern California. Everyone's an actor. Everyone's a performer. So I grew up actually taking classes at a local college. At a very young age, I took classes and workshops. And fun fact that I wouldn't know, and unless I got to this point in my life in this world, I was taking acting workshops at the same place that Colin Bass of Shattered Past was taking acting workshops. I think at the same time, but we were never in the same classes together. We actually lived 8 minutes apart from each other, and we've only recently met.
So for my next question, if you could be in any TV or movie franchise, what would it be and why?
Okay, so I have 3 answers. One is the live-action Lord of the Rings series that apparently is still being filmed in New Zealand. I would take out the trash at night just to work on that set. I would do makeup, costume design, set design. I would clean prosthetics. I would, if I could sneak into the writing room or just help hold an umbrella over an actor's head, I would do anything to be on that set. Otherwise, HBO series Lovecraft Country, I'm in love with that. I love the Lovecraft lore, and I just love what they're doing with the series. And then the last one to mix things up would be Documentary Now, created by Fred Armisen and Bill Hader. It's just a mini series of ridiculousness and creativity, amazing writers, amazing actors, and my type of humor.
Awesome. So for my next question, if your Kimberly Hart could cross over with any fan series of Power Rangers, what fan series would you want to cross over with?
Well, I mean, since I have this crazy tie with Colin Bass, and we've become good friends since getting to meet him through this connection with the Unworthy, I would have to say Shattered Past. That would be such an honor.
Awesome. So for my next question, what are the challenges into the acting industry, and how do you get through those challenges as a person?
Okay. Well, I have to say that I consider myself, I'm not a SAG card owner. I am, it's not the way that I put food on the table. So I consider my participation, my membership in the acting community as recreational and lighthearted. So I would say that I don't encounter too many difficulties because I'm doing it for the love of it. And if I don't want to do something, I just don't do it. But if there are difficulties that I am worried about going into working on, a fan series, is how harshly fans tend to judge, especially female characters. There's such there's such a double standard, and there's such friction when it comes to female characters in a lot of different series that are near and dear to fans' hearts. So I'd say that one I'm a little bit scared of, but not really. And then secondly is just making sure that I'm always gonna keep it lighthearted and fun, and I don't think that'll be difficult, um, but yeah, I think that'll be a good challenge to make sure that I'm always doing it because I love it.
Awesome. So for my next question, what have you learned about yourself this year during all this pandemic, COVID stuff?
That's a good question. I would say that I am not the type of person. Okay, I'm not the type of person that sits like Hamlet style, like, during this pandemic, I've been doing a lot of soul searching, and this is what I found about myself. Like, I'm not so into myself that I'm sitting there like, me, what am I learning about me? I'm more just trying to get through the everyday and keep spirits up and connect with people, because you never know what day is your last goodbye with them, whether they're moving, whether they're, they fall ill, whether they have to quarantine, you both have to quarantine. You never know when your last goodbye is. So if I've learned anything in general is treat every moment as your last goodbye, because you never know what's going to happen.
Awesome. So for my last question, are there any upcoming projects that you have coming that you would like to announce on the show?
Yes. Well, obviously, Unworthy. Make sure you're. They're doing an amazing job with their series on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're liking the videos, commenting. I'm very blessed that I have been able to teach myself some video editing. Obviously nowhere near the level of skill that the people I'm going to be collaborating with have under their belt, but I've taught myself basic video editing and started a little YouTube channel myself. Just some fun things that I do. So if you search BabsButcher on YouTube, you can find some of my videos. So that's been a nice venture that I've started, and a nice project that has been keeping me busy. And then lastly, I have actually been brought on to another fan-created venture that I can't talk about, but it's equally as exciting as Unworthy Productions, and the day that I'm able to talk about it is going to be a great day. So keep your eyes peeled, I guess. Make sure you're following me on different accounts, on different social media platforms, so that when I get to make the announcement and the team that I'm working with gets to make the announcement, everyone will know immediately.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much for appearing on my show. It means so much. Everyone, definitely go give BabsButcher such an incredible support. You work so truly amazing, and definitely keep up the amazing work. So thank you so much again. Do you have any final thoughts or anything that final things that you like to say?
Yes. I want to stop talking about myself and say thank you again for doing this. I mean, I've mentioned to a couple people like, oh yeah, I'm doing the Galaxy Man show. And they're like, what a great guy. He's so awesome. I love his support. I love his enthusiasm. He works so hard. And I think that speaks volumes about your reputation in the community. And that's really an honor to be speaking with you. That you wanted to speak with me. That's so great. That's so great.
Well, I love supporting you guys, and you guys are all doing such an incredible job with all these incredible projects in this such amazing community you guys all have. So, yeah, that's what I love to do, and I just love you guys.
Oh, great.